Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Big Kris Live, or not so live, as the last couple of episodes have been. We'll get into that in a few moments. My guest behind me is Melanie Martin, first return guest on the podcast, and rolling solo, so it's just you and me, sweetheart.
I'm surprised you want me back. I thought I was like the reason you got canceled on Facebook.
No, well, okay, so yeah, there was that one moment, but I was the one who came up with, I was prompting you, I was egging you on. So I guess that one,
Yeah.
the whole dick thing was probably my fault, or at least my fault for allowing it to happen. And maybe I should have known better. But I got 2 strikes now, Melanie. I can't live stream for 30 days. I was a 30-day ban. These are the rules here. I'll put them up on the screen. Can't post or comment for 24 hours. And you can't go live for 30 days, and you can't advertise for 30 days. Well, I don't have any money to advertise, Mark Zuckerberg, especially after this fiasco.
Yeah, don't have to worry about anything there.
Yeah, and that was a misunderstanding. And I said I disagreed with the thing, and I said I want a different review. And then they replied, and they said we can't do a second review on this because of COVID-19. We're overwhelmed, and we don't have enough staff to do extra reviews.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's bullshit. So I still have to be in Facebook jail for 30 days, no live streaming. And therefore, Big Kris Live is Big Kris Live to tape. But
live-ish.
Yeah.
Live-ish.
I promise no edits. Although, I guess that means we can show dicks now and not get the live stream pulled, if we so choose.
I don't have any dicks ready.
That's...
Sorry, man.
It's okay. It's just really funny hearing Melanie say, I don't have any dicks ready. That phrase is just strange unto itself. We have a load of stuff to get to. And firstly, I'll just say thanks again, Melanie, for coming on the podcast again. And I realized looking back that I've only had 2 female guests on this podcast. My wife.
What?
And you are the only 2 females. The rest has been a complete sausage fest.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to mix it up.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised with you. But thanks for having me back on, man. I love hanging with you.
Yeah, the last episode was a roundtable on professional wrestling. So, I was like, it just got a little too sausage, even for me. Yeah, I think anytime you include the word roundtable, it's like that's just men. I don't know why I think that.
I didn't see or hear that episode. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you won't.
I will have to try to listen to it.
No, there's nothing there for you, Melanie.
Why aren't you doing a roundtable on your favorite show? I'm surprised.
On Oak Island?
Yeah, when's that one coming?
You know what? Actually, that is in the works. We're going to try and line it up close to the season finale of The Curse of Oak Island. Hopefully the only finale, because it's just been dragging on forever. So there is that sideline. So I also would like to mention, too, that we're going to subvert this Facebook lockdown on my live streaming. And we're going to do that through our mutual friend, Melanie, DeanBlundell.com. has offered up DeanTube, so we'll be able to live stream via DeanTube, which is, of course, YouTube, but DeanTube. So we'll be doing live streaming there in the meantime.
Look at you getting around the man.
Yeah, I know, right? And what a pirate rebel to partner with to help make that happen, right? Some reason, even just saying the word DeanTube, it sounds dirty. You said, DeanTube. I don't know why. It's that capital D. I think. Also off the top, I'll mention, Mel, maybe you can weigh in on this, that Lisa's in her 3rd trimester officially this week.
Oh, wow. Is she already?
Already? I know.
She's not feeling that way. I'm sure she's not feeling that way. But for me, on the outside, it's like, wow, already?
I know. It's flying by, right? So April's coming quickly.
What are the big challenges of trimester 3 for you?
A lot of the usual
for you.
For me, for me. Oh, for me. Well, we did leave last night, and we got to Dairy Queen just in time to get an icy slushy thing that she was craving. She just said we got to go. I'm like, all right, I'll ride shotgun for that ride. But then the other thing is I have to do upper boots now. She's got to sit down. I'll put the picture up too. There's me doing her boots up, and she's got her feet. Look at that. Those big strong arms taking that foot and just wrangling it. just being a man. Being a man.
Yeah, you're a good man, Kris. You're a really good man doing that. I talk to Kris daily. Here's the thing. I talk to Kris daily, so it's a little, BTS behind the scenes. And he often talks about all the things he's had to do for Lisa. Yeah. And I'm constantly reminding him, she's growing the human inside of her body.
Yeah.
Just because you help with the shoes, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, it's sweet. I'm glad you're doing it. But the heel.
Yeah.
Growing in there.
Anyways, the Dairy Queen was a nice side thing too. I'm okay. Yeah. Thanks, Mel. You're 100% right. I'm always trying to play the hero, and I always blow my horn. Doo-doo, look what I did. That's just part of what I do.
No, but it is very sweet. I don't want to I just want to remind you that it's her doing the work, and I'm sure you know that already, but you are pretty sweet to her, which is nice to see.
Thanks, Melanie. I love my lady. I love my lady. What can I say?
I know you do.
And I'm so glad, Mel, that we can have you back, and it's not just that I'm trying to check the box. You know how I hate box checking.
Yeah.
But we genuinely have matters to discuss today, and we're going to touch on is the cannibalism fetish? Is that a way to tease this up, Melanie? That we're going to get to a lot of stuff, but that's one of the things that spurned us. I said, you know what? We got to do this on a podcast.
Yeah, I think it is a cannibalism fetish.
That's what we'd call it. I
don't know what else to call it.
Okay. Before the end of the episode, cannibalism fetish. It looks like it's a real thing. And Melanie will explain why she's into it. We definitely need to unpack that one just a tad, just a little bit. Yeah. Now, also in Melanie and Me business, of course, we do the radio show together, the morning program, Big Mornings on Big 101 in Barrie. And then Melanie has JJ and Melanie. That's a previous episode. Go back and listen or watch to it, or watch it in our previous episodes. That was a riot. And I will say, Melanie, too, that was the #1 listened to episode of 2020. Was that one?
Nice.
Which is which is cool. But
awesome.
But I just thought that we have just so much to discuss that we had to re-team up, just you and I, after all the things we talked about this morning. But some good laughs there, and please go back and check that out. We also are intertwined because we both had a COVID scare recently.
Dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually blame Kris for this COVID scare. I think it's your fault.
Even when I phoned I phoned Melanie up. I was like, "Hey, so I gotta talk to you. I know this is gonna freak you out. Like, I had to prep her ahead of time. So just sit down for a second." And I said, I gotta go get a COVID test. I'm not gonna be in work tomorrow. And luckily, short story long, we're negative. We're good. We're okay. But there was a minute there, eh?
Yeah, it's such a weird thing because, we all know now that anything that happens if you just feel a little stuffy, our minds obviously go right to COVID. But we had all the symptoms. And I didn't have the full-on fever, but Kris said he had the fever, and I was like, "Oh Lord, not the fever! It's gotta be COVID!" I was freaking out, and I am a bit of a hypochondriac, so I was shitting my pants, and then I was feeling pretty bad, so I decided not to go into work because how do you that's the other thing. It's I didn't want to not go into work because you weren't there. And it's one of those things you don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to tell bosses. And then do they believe you when you think you have COVID? Or do they think you're trying to get some time off? You just don't know what it is, right? So it's that really weird, nerve-wracking thing. And then I thought, well, it's my responsibility. I feel like shit. I have to say that I'm going in for a test. And so I booked the test. I got my test that night, which I thought was kind of cool. It was really quick.
It was impressive from a government infrastructure scale, how quickly we were able to get in and get out and get a test. And get a result.
Yeah. And the test itself, I went in on Friday night. It was pretty busy there. I thought to myself, well, if I didn't have COVID, I might have it now. It's a very strange place to be when there's a bunch of people in a little room all thinking they got COVID. I was like, ugh. like if I wasn't positive, it's such a weird thing.
Oh, there
But
was a guy.
the test wasn't so bad.
Yeah, there was a guy 6 feet ahead of me, and the doctors were asking him, "Hey, what are your symptoms?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't smell or taste anything." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, this guy's got it for sure." And I took a step back as soon as he said that. I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "I'm taking a step back."
Gonna walk back here a little bit. Yes,
it was
that's
crazy.
the thing. Like it's terrifying when you go in there, but you really don't have a choice. But they were pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if you've ever had a tube down your nose.
Ugh.
Anybody? Maybe I had
No.
my vocal cords checked, so I kind of have felt that before.
I remember. Yeah.
But it's a weird feeling, and but it's quick though. It's like 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, the in and out wasn't the problem. It was when they swirled it around. Like I was like, "Are you scrambling my brains up there? Like what's going on in there?" Like I was the funky sensation. Is what that was.
And just when you think like they're like right in there and they're far enough, they just get a little further.
Yeah.
Like really, did you have to? I think you're just being bitchy right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's a dominatrix, and she's like, "I will take you to your limits."
Yes. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, does she just not like me? Because I feel like that was just a little step too far.
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. And then I got a call for my results. I didn't I didn't have to check the email. I got a phone call. Yeah.
And the doctor said what? Congratulations, right? Like that was what he said?
Yeah, it was so weird. It was just quick. Like he was like, "Hey, Melanie Martin, whatever, congratulations. You're negative for COVID-19. I was like, "Congratulations."
Yeah, what is this?
Like,
pardon?
When did that happen?
Yeah, give me a break.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. He was laughing a little bit though, because it's just like you kind of take him by surprise. Like, what do you mean congratulations?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I guess.
But during that time, like it's like I don't know, like some people have bigger homes, it's a little bit easier. I'm in a very small place, and I was just thinking like, I wasn't feeling well, so I was nervous that it was gonna get worse. That was like what I was kind of panicking about.
Yeah.
And then just thinking like 14 days in here, like, just 3 days or whatever it was of strict quarantine. I had groceries delivered. I didn't go in my car, couldn't go because you can't go anywhere. And I was just sitting here going like, how am I going to do this for 14 days? Like, I'm going to be insane. Yeah. I'm going to order food just for the sake of boredom. Like, just order food and eat. Like, what else do you do?
Yeah. And who can afford to skip the dishes 7 days a week for 14 days? That's 2 weeks solid. I mean, that gets pricey. And then also the pounds that you put on. There was a great a meme out there. Somebody, someone on Twitter, I don't remember. I wish I had a copy of it or a screen cap, but I didn't. But it was John Hamm is in awfully great shape for the amount of skip the dishes that he orders. And
right?
I was like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But that would be your quarantine right there. Because nobody's prepared with the amount of food that you would have to have. Right.
The amount of food that you would have to have, and also just boredom. I ordered my groceries from like Uber groceries.
Oh, right. That's an option. Right?
Yeah. And I had like a shit ton delivered, and I'm like, okay, I'm all settled. I got everything. I'm good. I'm going to be all right. But then like that night, I'm like, now what? Now I'm going to order Chinese food. Like it just out of sheer boredom.
Yeah. Right.
I watched a lot of Netflix and all the things, but it's like, I mean, 14 days, it's tough. It really gave me, I take this a serious time a little bit, but it gave me a new perspective on what our elderly especially are going through in those long-term care homes.
Yeah.
Like those are tiny little rooms that they're in. Yep. They don't have the luxury of being in a big home or being able to go upstairs, downstairs, backyard, whatever. They're in these little rooms, and they've been there since like March. It really gave me a new perspective that way.
And that was 3 days. Like that was 3 days waiting for a test to come back, right? And just staying inside, right? And imagine that being all the way back to March. That's wild to think about, right? Totally.
Can't imagine, yeah.
I mean, imagine if it wasn't negative. Imagine if it was positive. Actually, imagine if I was negative and you were positive. That would be... How did that happen? Weirder things have happened. an article on Narcity that
and the whole time I was thinking, if I have it, at least I can blame Kris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who do you blame, right? Because I was the one who went down first.
Yeah.
But here's one that's an article. Ontario testing error led to multiple people being told they had COVID-19 when they didn't. Whoa. Imagine having to.
Scared me. I just read that today.
Oh, you're breaking up there, Mel. We got frozen Mel.
Yeah, I just got.
Oh, you're back. There we go.
Do I look cute though, frozen?
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't an ugly frozen face. It wasn't like you didn't look like a troll doll. Anyways.
Okay, as long as it's not ugly.
But imagine having to do that 14-day quarantine, thinking that you had COVID, and having to shelter and do all the precautions and everything, and then find out, oh no, we made a mistake. That would suck.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, that would suck huge. And it would suck the other way around too. I mean, thinking that because they said it went both ways. Like, imagine being told, like you and I, we both got negative COVID tests. Now I'm like, shit, I certainly hope they were accurate because, you're back at work and exposing other people. It's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. If they can screw that up, could they screw something else up? Like it creates like a false sense of security or insecurity, I guess.
Exactly.
We got another announcement coming down from the government tomorrow. I don't know. They're going to say they're going to say they're going to put more measures in. But I mean, what's worse than lockdown? We're already in lockdown. What's next? Where do we go from here? I don't know. But I can tell you at the last Doug Ford press conference, I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out too.
I don't know who in the last press conference else noticed this, but how could you not? That in the background, Minister Stephen Lecce, he was packing heat during the press conference. Take a look at this. Yeah. Melanie, you saw that video on my Twitter. It's out there. It's getting a lot of heat, shall we say, on Twitter. And rightfully so. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's very impressive. I was like, dude, who is this guy? Why have I not been into politics all this time? It's quite impressive. But I'm like, is he hard or is he just like, that's just him?
I think he's a shower, not a grower. I think that's just him hanging out in the background. Unless, of course, lockdowns make him hard. Unless lockdowns get him randy.
Listen, I'm not the dick expert, despite what's happening on your podcast, and it's kind of like this trending thing. I am not.
I'm not trying to paint you that way either, but it just seems to be falling into place.
Yeah, I have nothing against them though.
No, big fan.
But his in particular, I was like, if he's not hard, he's just there. Like, it's pretty good. Like, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, I did some digging on this guy, Melanie. His portfolio, by the way, for the Ontario government, he is the education minister. He looks after the kids.
Oh.
He's in charge of the kids.
You might want to, like, don't you guys have tighter underwear that can hide that shit? Like, I don't know.
Man, it's like, I don't think any underwear could house that. There was someone on Twitter today who said it looked like a stack or a roll of dimes. And I was like, what? I think you're selling him short. A roll of dimes. That's like a roll of silver dollars.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a roll of dimes. There's no chance. Way bigger than that.
Yeah, someone needs some glasses.
That's the thing with guys. I did that because I have seen, a lot of that. And I'm like, why don't you tuck it or something? Like, don't you like try to do something with it so it's not just out there on display?
Yeah.
I don't know, Kris, you're the one with the dick. What do you do with it?
I don't have a dick like that, so I don't know what to do with a dick like that. Shit. You know what I would do, Melanie, if I had a dick like that? You know what I would do? It would be out. It would just be out all the time. Just, hey, how's it going, everyone? Just walk in. Hello. Yes. That's my dick right there. I own that thing.
Right. Yeah. So
I mean, yeah. That's where it is.
Fair enough.
Donald Trump. All right. Let's just touch on this, Melanie. I know.
All right.
I know. The T word. He was banned from every app. His phone is basically a brick. What do you do with a brick? Like, what do you do? You have to make a phone call now?
Yeah.
So you have to.
I feel like he's going to start tweeting through other people's accounts, obviously.
Right.
I mean, his kids are still on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's how the kids do it. They just go, "Oh yeah, you deleted me, or you hid me, or whatever the fuck."
Yeah.
They just find someone else's to go on.
Yeah. Or I'm sure you know what, he could find a Russian bot as well that he could just assume at some point.
That whole thing is weird. Do you feel like that's the right thing to do? Ban him entirely?
I am conflicted on that. You know, taking it to serious town. But yeah, you know, Melanie, you know how I am very much a liberal, but a conflicted liberal in a lot of ways. In that, you know, I find that modern day liberalism is turning into the word police and the fun police. And it used to be the other way around when I was a kid. You know, it used to be the conservatives were like telling you not to do things. And now for some reason it's the liberals telling you always not to do things, you know? And I'm just like, what happened here? You know, it used to be about freedom of expression, freedom of speech. So there's some of those concerns that I have. And when you see something like that happen, you get concerned like that. But in this case, I'm 1,000% for it. I mean, that guy needed to be stopped. He was unstoppable. I mean, look at all the things that they tried to take him down with over the years. Impeachment, et cetera, et cetera. Like from day one, there was corruption that they were exposing. Nothing could seem to the grabber by the, you know, everything. You think everything had to be so outrageous that was going to sink Donald Trump, right? Everything you thought was going to be the end of him, and he still kept surviving and surviving. You know what? The only way to do it now is to just cut off his access to social media, cut off his following, cut off his mob that he gets to command with that social media following, right? You know, now all he can do is pick up a phone and call someone or text someone because he doesn't have any apps. And that's safer because anyone who's going to take his phone call already is one of his people, you know? He's not going to be able to influence. That's the way I feel about it.
I mean, I agree with you. You know, the freedom of speech thing really scares me, and big tech getting involved like that. I mean, how quickly big tech can just decide, boom, like we're going to cancel the president of the United States, whether it's Trump or it's not Trump. I just feel like, wow, what a big move. You know, what a huge move that scares me a little bit. But I agree. Yeah. Like someone like Trump, obviously he needed to be silenced. But it's something to think about, you know, like these, that's Mark Zuckerberg sitting there going, yeah, okay, we're done. He's out.
Yeah. And
it's scary.
You know, there's a lot of people turning on Trump now, but how convenient also that you're turning on him now, you know, when he's on his way out at the end, when he's on, you know, like, isn't that convenient? You know, where were you when we needed you back, you know, a year ago in impeachment or, you know, whatever. I say we, like I have some kind of stake in it. I'm just some Canadian, but it's everywhere that, you know, everyone's got an angle on it. But you know, where were these people when the Democrats or when sane, not even Democrats, let's not even make it about a side. Let's just say when sane-minded people needed some of these people to check the president, they didn't. And that's bothersome. Whether it's social media companies, private industry, whatever, or fellow cabinet members or people of the Republican Party, right? You know.
Well, I mean, was there something so unprecedented or where he was inciting violence? I'm trying to think back in the last few years that was so bold and obvious. Like this one was so bold and obvious, you know, you couldn't really hide behind anything. He did tell them to, you know, walk, and like he said he would walk with them even. So I mean, this one he couldn't hide from, right?
No, there's no way. Yeah, there's no way. Just like kind of like the George Floyd video. There's no way that video could be misinterpreted. There's no way that video could have been skewed, or someone could have said XYZ about it or debated it. It was just cold-blooded murder. Like that's what it was, you know. And I think that's the same thing. When everyone saw that and what the president did, and you know that was just okay. Everyone said, yeah, okay, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And some of these, and this is not the first time that this take has been taken, but some of these or has been given. But some of these followers of Donald Trump that did storm the Capitol the other day, or the Congress the other day, I mean, like, they weren't exactly the winners of America. You know what I mean? Like the horn guy, the Viking horn guy. It turns out he lives in his mom's basement.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a trickle down of stories now. These people are being identified. Like these are, but in a way.
And doesn't that scare you? Doesn't that scare you a little bit to think that guy and all of those people now they know that their leader has been blocked from here? Like, doesn't it scare you that maybe they're gonna, start something somewhere else that we don't know about?
Yes, something less public.
Like,
well,
me.
See, Melanie, here's the thing: is I think those were just the jokers. Those were just the, in medieval times, let's say the farmers with pitchforks and torches. The real soldiers did not show themselves the other day, and I do believe there is some sort of militia gearing up right now for a conflict. I mean, I don't want to be so fucking negative, but I mean, like, I just don't see how America pulls out of this with it. Okay, like, if I can for a second. I know it's my podcast, Melanie, but let's just dive into my area of expertise here. I just, I know this is really deep into into war stuff, but like, my time in the Afghan conflict in Afghanistan, and that's is for sure. I studied intensely on that for like 4 years of my life and worked, tirelessly with the war effort there, and so, the idea that a country can have a segment of its population, let's say 35% of America, 35% of them are QAnon, or 30 to 35% of them are extreme type people who agree with the storming of the Capitol, that agree with what happened, or were supporting, or were there themselves. If that's 30% of your country, which it looks statistically like it probably is, something in those numbers, like in America, that's not comparable to the Taliban in Afghanistan. About 30% of the country, 30 to 40% of the country supported the Taliban regime. They were the old president that was deposed by America. So, when you put that into perspective, look how long the Afghan war dragged out. I look at Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, like these conflicts where there's two extreme ideologies that just there's zero common ground. There's zero between whatever these QAnon people believe, which is crazy that's even in a discussion point. But there's nothing to agree on there. There's no common ground. There's no compromise on that kind of the discussion, right? So I just don't see how this gets resolved. But it's a start.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, and I certainly don't think that with Biden jumping in, everyone's feeling like, oh, it's just going to be okay. I mean, it's not.
Yeah,
it's going to take some time, and I don't know. I look at it and I've just kind of reflected on it a number of times and thought, holy shit, America, you are just so divided.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I know it's so simplistic, but it's true. It's just like, what happened?
I'm waiting for Donald Trump to announce his shadow government, where he's got shadow ministers and his own militia, and he's going to start wearing like a military uniform like Gaddafi did in Libya and start calling himself a colonel. I'm waiting. That's right out of the dictator's playbook, and that's exactly what he is.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he tried.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to something a little more tasteful, and by tasteful, I mean just a tad more. All right, let's jump into cannibalism fetish, Melanie. I love that we could go from Donald Trump and the problems of the geopolitical world to actor Armie Hammer. Is he a cannibal? That's the question that's floating about these days.
Yeah. Okay, so off the top, these texts get released on Twitter. And they do say it's from multiple victims of Armie Hammer. They say that he used things to manipulate them. No one knows whether these are even real at this point. If it's just like, it's very confusing. And he hasn't really come out to say at this time whether or not they're true. But when someone says cannibalism, everyone's like, ew, obviously, right?
Yeah, yes.
I know. But hear me out.
Hear me out on cannibalism? Okay. I think those guys on the last podcast had an easier time convincing me that wrestling is cool. All right, but anyways.
It's not the act of cannibalism.
Okay.
That's kind of hot. It's all the stuff around it. He didn't say, I want to eat you. He said that he wants to like hold her heart and have control of her. And tweets, or a lot of the text, if they are, he did say, I'm 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you. But that's fucked up. But also there's something hot about the rest of the tweets where he's kind of like, he's trying to control her from a distance and be very, he's dominating her. I don't know why. I think there is something sexy about that. I know I'm saying this out loud.
Yeah. This is on record, Melanie. This isn't even a live stream that can get pulled. Like, I've got this now on tape.
Not the cannibalism part. I don't actually want a dude to eat me.
No, don't worry. I'm gonna chop it up so it sounds like you're pro cannibalism. Right. Don't worry.
But it's just like I don't know. I like things that are different. I like it dirty. I like the dirty talk. I like the aggression a little bit within reason. You're playing. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a fetish.
Yeah.
So I'm not into the Hannibal Lecter thing, but I can understand why he has a weird fetish as long as he's not like acting on it.
But is it for real? Because it's kind of 50-50 out there. Like half the internet thinks that these things have been faked.
Right. Yes. There's that.
So everyone thinks, there's the text messages that have been leaked or supposedly leaked that people say are faked. But what Melanie's talking about are specifically about tweets from 2017 that he liked that were fetish style tweets that he didn't, I guess, realize in 2017 that your likes are public. You can see what tweets you've liked. And so people have found that out and have traced back to some of these rather cannibalistic fetish type accounts and videos.
Tell me what woman, and feel free to at me, that's fine. Tell me what woman has not read a vampire book and wanted the vampire to come in the middle of the fucking night. Don't tell me that you don't, because you do. It's a fantasy. That's what fantasies are for. That's why people have fetishes. Okay. I don't actually want a vampire to slice me open, but if a hot, sexy dude came in and like grabbed me and just like ravished me, I'm down for that. I'm like, like it's fine.
So maybe
that fantasy.
Maybe we need to rename it. I think cannibalism fetish is not the right term for it. Maybe vampire fetish might be better. I'm just, when you say vampire, it has the Hollywood vibe to it, and you think of sparkling people and Edward Scissorhands and, or whatever.
But they're actually biting you. They're biting you and sucking your blood. It's kind of the same thing.
So explain more of this to me, Melanie, because I only looked at a few of these tweets. Is there actual biting that goes on in some of this? You're for real?
In the alleged, at this point, text messages, he said, do you want me to read it?
Yeah, please. Yeah, verbatim.
He said, oh my God, that just made me so hard. And it makes me confused as to why. Is that even possible? So hard. Thinking of holding your heart in my hand and controlling it when it beats.
Whoa.
I am 100% a cannibal. I want to eat you. Fuck, that's scary to admit. I've never admitted that before. I've cut the heart out of a living animal before and eaten it while it was still warm.
So that was the text. Those are the texts. That's not the tweets from 2017. Oh.
Hold on. Sorry.
That's
my
okay.
phone's
there we go.
right in the middle of your podcast. Sorry.
That's okay, buddy. It's all right. It happens all the time. It's modern day.
Yeah.
Anyways, so those are the texts, right? That's not the.
So that's a text. And
okay.
then this one, he says, okay, so you don't get a lot of the in-between conversation. It says, "You're my angel. You're made to save me. You're mine. You hear me? Say it now." She replies, "I am yours. I belong to you." That's fucking hot. That's fucking hot.
I was going to say,
I
Mel,
am yours. That's hot.
That's a nice piece of literature there. That's not bad. It's not bad.
He goes on to say that you're mine. I own you now. I'll own you forever. She says, "I do. I'm yours." That's just conversation. That's just fantasy. Like, in no way would I ever want a guy to actually talk to me like that in real life. Like, "I fucking own you, bitch." Bitch, bye. You know? But in the bedroom,
I see.
you can fucking talk to me like that. It's fine. Bring it on. It's hot.
Do you not think
those moments?
Do you not think though that nowadays, post Me Too, and not that we're over it, but the more modern society, I think there's a lot of guys who would be more afraid to come out of the gate with that kind of behavior. That might be.
For sure.
How do you talk to your partner about that? I mean, not you specifically, Melanie, or if you'd like to use your own examples, but how would one break the news to their partner, hypothetically?
I like to be dominated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think most guys, you're right. I think most guys nowadays, especially, are probably quite nervous to get place. But I think if someone came out of the gate and talked to me like that, I wouldn't handle it well.
Right.
But if you're actively seeking just a sexual fantasy, then you're looking for specific people. That's one thing. If you're in a relationship with someone, I think that you should be having that open conversation. These are the things I like, what I'm honest about. And you guys play. I mean, why not? That's the fun of being a partner.
I guess.
It takes to warm them up to that if they're not all open to it.
Yeah.
But you got to have the conversations with your partner about it.
Well, I guess I'll just take that tweet, or I'll take that text, and I'll go upstairs and read it to the missus, and be like, read it verbatim to her. "I want to control you. I want to grab your beating heart." I'll see what she does. I'll see how it comes off. I'll see, maybe we'll.
I can't see it coming from you. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?"
Melanie Martin.
No, but I mean, that's why Christian Grey did so well in the books. Like, what was the books again? I can't remember. The series.
The series, yeah.
Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. 50 Shades of Grey.
That's it, yeah.
Because he was so dominating and so hot about it. And I mean, he was spanking her. He was doing the thing. Like, women were loving it because there is that sort of fantasy if it's in a safe environment.
Yeah.
Armie Hammer's also very hot. So he probably thinks I can do whatever I want. Unfortunately, I don't like this part, but he's famous, he's hot, he thinks he can do and say whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little different. But again, in a safe environment with someone you love.
Yeah.
Far away.
Well, Armie Hammer. What a name too, eh? He has to have Hammer in his name. Like, that's yeah. Do we have a lead on his hammer at all? There's no
I tried. I didn't see anything.
Really? Not unlike the finance this education minister for Ontario. We got a lead on him. We got a lead on that guy. Oh man, look at that thing go. Hey-o. Melanie Martin, love having you on, man. I'll see you in the morning, I guess. We got another show to do. We just, keep doing shows. Keep doing it. You can check out Melanie, JJ and Melanie, Unfiltered. They've got a podcast also on the Dean Blundell Network, as is Big Kris Live. We'll be live streaming again. You can find us on DeanTube for the next live stream. YouTube, but for DeanBlundell.com, you get the deal. DeanTube. Also, as always, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the feedback. And again, Melanie Martin, thanks for being the guest and mixing up the genders here on the podcast. Yeah.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.
Going back to the Melanie well.